What's up, y'all? Shit. I was trying to, get myself together before I actually went live, but then I had stopped and fixed me something to eat, and then I, put that in the oven so it'll stay warm, and then I ran and I kind of got sidetracked, nonetheless. But I'm here. Um, you know, I'm just frustrated, like, for real. The main thing I'm frustrated about is that when I was on drugs heavy, in this bitch in a stupor because you was where my mama was and my husband was back and forth flirting with each other. I was in this bitch in a stupor. Nobody gave a fuck. The moment that I decide, oh, I'm finna just get off this shit. I'm finna try to get off this shit. You know what I'm saying? Then you want to call and say I'm on drugs. That shit is crazy. That's the crazy part. Like, when I was on drugs, you didn't give a fuck. You left me sitting in this bitch, getting high, trying to figure out why the fuck my mama was bent over in front of my husband. And why the fuck late at night he creeping back and forth in and out the back door by your room and shit. In and out the back door by the next door neighbor house. Why is he doing all this shit? And he's still like, oh, I ain't fucking nobody. If you ain't fucking nobody, you show moving like you fucking somebody, bruh. I done invested money in the equipment and shit for shit we was supposed to be doing together. But it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I invested that money in that microscope so that way I could examine the water and see the different parasites and bacteria that was in the water to see how to clean it, and I'm going to use that for me. God must be wanting me to have it. But the point is that I invested time and money and energy and love for a motherfucker to push me to the point. Like, the whole time, bro, the whole time we was in Seattle, I wasn't on nothing. I wasn't doing nothing. I wasn't on nothing. And then here you go with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Dog, it's not easy being an addict, dog. It's not. And it damn sure ain't easy when you trying to get off the shit and every goddamn body around you just keep egging you on. It's like they wanted me to be in a drug-induced coma. That's what they wanted. They was waiting for me to overdose in this bitch. That's what they was waiting on. And because God put his hand on my shoulder and said, baby, it's time for you to let this go. And I've been calling, trying to get help, trying to get assistance, trying to get in mental health programs, trying to get in treatment programs, trying to get HopWell, trying to do everything I can to ensure that I'm taking care of me. Because obviously nobody around me don't give a fuck. And the moment I decide to put the junk down, the moment that shit crazy. I'm not gonna cry, but that shit is crazy to me, dog. 2016, the beginning of 2016, January, matter of fact, December 31st, 2015, I got into a severe car accident. When I got into that car accident, I went to pain management. I had a hole in my head. Glass was still in my eyes. I was seeing light in my eyes even when I was closing my eyes, so much so to the point to where it changed the shape of my eye. Like, if you look at it, you can see the difference. Like, this one, it's a little bit more oval than circle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it changed the shape of my eye, which means it changed my vision. You know what I'm saying? And it's like a floodgate of emotions and bullshit and everything just was hitting me. And when I first went to pain management, they prescribed me morphine. Like, they was really giving me morphine for real. And I didn't want to be on morphine. I didn't want to be on morphine. So I was fucking with a nigga and he was smoking Molly. I used to pop Molly. So shit, I started smoking Molly with this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Trying to deal with the pain and not wanting to be on opioids. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to cope with the pain. And for my mama to know this way since 2016, 17, you know that I was self-medicating because of the pain from the head injuries, the back pains, the spine, the whole nine. You knew that. And you knew I was self-medicating because I did not want them doctors to put me on opioids. You knew that. I didn't want to be on opioids because shit, I figured MDMA is a lot better than motherfucking opioids. Opioids is heroin. You see what I'm saying? And that shit is way harder to kick than MDMA. But the whole point is, this has been years in the making. And you sat back and you watched. Not once did you say, Jessica, baby, you know, you might want to try to do something different. Every time I went to the doctor, they try to prescribe me opioids or they give me ibuprofen, knowing that I can't take ibuprofen because my kidney's bad. Ibuprofen fucks up your kidneys even further. I had stage 3 kidney disease taking ibuprofen, listening to the fucking doctors, talking about it was an inflammatory issue. Bitch, sciatic nerve is not an inflammatory issue. A fucking hole in your head is not an inflammatory issue. Glass in your eye to the point to where it changes the shape of your eye is not an inflammatory issue. So I started self-medicating. You know what I'm saying? And I was okay. I was okay until 2020, where these people infected me with HIV. And everybody's saying that I don't want to look at myself. And the truth of the matter is, that's the first person I blamed. The first person I blamed was me. The first person I blamed was Jessica. I was literally in my mind thinking like, damn. You know what I'm saying? You keep taking this nigga back. You've been fucking with this nigga for 5 years. You finally break up with this nigga. You go fuck with somebody new and all of a sudden you HIV positive. I just knew the nigga hadn't gave it to me. I knew it. And then here it is. You know, I was trying to hold it all together, and I was doing good. Like I was a functional addict. It wasn't like I was just jonesing at the job, shaking and trembling. No, I was functional. I had my times where I got high. I had my times where I went to work. And I did not mix the two. So at the end of the day, I was functioning. I was managing my pain. And then I found the paperwork. And the people went to try to evict me. And when I found the paperwork, and the paperwork actually from my last negative HIV test had the date on it that the lab actually confirmed that I was in fact HIV positive. How in the fuck would a HIV test diagnosis or HIV test confirmation from October of 2020 have the date 12/17/20 on it? 12/17/20 was the day that the lab confirmed for me that I was in fact HIV positive. So why would that date be on a test from October? This December. How would you, what you saw the future? What you foreseen the future? Or you knew that you had injected me with HIV and you knew for sure that I would definitely know that I was HIV positive by 12/17/20. Because anything else doesn't make sense. How you pull that date out your ass? And then I'm trying to explain this to my family. And then I'm trying to go through an eviction. I'm telling my mom I need help to pay the bills. She don't want to help. I'm telling my husband I need help to pay the bills. They don't want to help. I'm paying all the bills. I'm left over with 17 cents after I get my paycheck the same exact day. And this is consistently throughout 2021. So by 2022, I was gone. By 2022, it was no functional addict. I was gone. Because I was buried in all type of responsibilities that wasn't just mine. And I put myself there. So I put myself in a drug-induced stupor. Because nobody gave a fuck. The people I was reaching out to for help, they didn't give a fuck. The people that I had to took care of, they didn't give a fuck. Nobody gave a fuck. And then in comes a Cincion. And I'm thinking, okay, you got to kick the junk, Jessica. This is a good man. He deserves for you to give him the best of you. You deserve for you to give him the best of you. You deserve love. So I attempted to kick the shit because I knew it had to went too far. Was going too far. It was going too far. It was past the point of me just using Molly to manage my pain. It was to the point where that was my friend. That's who the fuck I was talking to when I was going through all the shit I was going through, because nobody else gave a fuck. Everybody else saw it as an opportunity to further fuck me over. Oh, she fucked up on that shit. Now let's try and fuck her over. Let's try and fuck her over. Let's try. Every goddamn body joined in. Everybody joined in. Nobody acknowledged the traumatic brain trauma. Nobody acknowledged the sciatic nerve damage. I got a fucking gash in my head where it was right here, dog. That's my temple. That's right where your nerve at. That nerve runs all the way from here down your body. Nobody wanted to talk about that. Everybody wanted to focus on the fact that I had to fell off the wagon. I was no longer managing my addiction, and my addiction was now managing me. So when I met a Cincion, I felt like that was the light at the end of the tunnel. I felt like that was somebody that I connected with. That was somebody that thought the same way that I thought. That was somebody that wanted the same things that I wanted out of life. That was somebody that was willing to put in the work to get there. Somebody that was going to roll up their sleeves and get dirty with me, instead of standing on the sidelines watching, judging, and commenting like my so-called family had done. You watched my addiction spin out of control, Mom. And when I met a Cincion and you saw me putting forth the effort to try to let the addiction go, you were scared. You were scared as fuck. And when I got here and I was trying to get myself together, I could see your wheels spinning. And as soon as a Cincion got his ass in this house, and you saw that he was weak as far as controlling his lust, you started manipulating. He started manipulating. He drinking all the time, every day, all day, every day, all day. What the fuck? If you fully in your addiction and I'm trying to kick an addiction, I mean, of course, it's not your fault that I was an addict. Just like it's not my fault that you was an addict. But you came in this house full-blown alcoholic mode and flirting with my mama and flirting with the next door neighbor and flirting with other hoes that was tricking on the block at 3:30 in the morning during tricking hours. Don't nobody be outside at no 3:30. From 3:30 to 6 a.m. is tricking hours. And I'm sitting in this bitch trying to kick an addiction. So I said, fuck kicking the addiction. It's no point. Like at some point, dog, I just gave up on life because I had to see every goddamn person that was in my life to fuck me over. Every one of them. And it was nobody to turn to. Nobody gave a fuck. Nobody gave me their shoulder to lean on. Nobody tried to even get outside their own shit for 1 second to try to pull me back. So, after all the shit happened, after you put me in the bell hug, Ascension, and my mama walks in the living room, sees me in a bear hug, calls the police because I told her, I say, if we get into it again and it get physical, call the police. Because I ain't finna keep fighting with no grown-ass man. He throwing gang signs. Like, why would you be throwing up gang signs to a woman, dog? Your wife at that. Like, nigga, I ain't never been in no gang. Ever. When I throw up this is a 21 gun salute to all the real niggas, political prisoners, and niggas that done died of the hands of the system. It ain't got shit to do with no gang. I ain't never been in no gang. Am I affiliated with gang members? Yes, I am. But have I ever joined a gang? Never. I ain't never needed no gang. I always stood alone. So you in this bitch flirting with my mama, you talking to my mama, you talking to the neighbors, you talking to the trick hoes, you doing all this. So once again, I put myself in a drug-induced coma. And to be quite frank, Ascension, you really didn't give a fuck. You really didn't. You used my addiction to barter with me for my self-respect. Like you was gonna expose that I was an addict to everybody. Bitch, I done been in drug treatment programs way back when I was 20. Every goddamn body in my life know I struggle with addiction. Everyone. I used to be a cokehead, bruh. Come on, my nigga. Everybody around me know I struggle with addiction. And the main reason why I struggle with addiction is because my sorry ass mammy told me I was crazy my whole life instead of saying, baby, you got a gift and this is how you use it. That's what they do in the South. In the South, when you show signs of being a gifted child of God, they say that you're crazy and they try to put you on medication. So instead of getting the proper guidance throughout my life, I was being purposely, wrongfully instructed. My whole life. When I seen how my mama, I pulled my mama to the side and I told her, I said, it seemed like he got a crush on you or some shit. Like you don't see this shit? Oh, I see it. And then as soon as I acknowledged that to her, she went in. They flirting, they drinking together. My mama don't even drink like that. Now all of a sudden they drinking together, they taking rides together, they going shopping together. I asked you to get me some apple juice from the store, some almond milk from the store. While you out with my mama shopping, y'all done went all over the world, but you don't come back with anything that I asked you for. But my mama getting plants, my mama getting clothes, my mama getting all type of shit. And I'm just looking like, damn, my mama done went to this man and told this man that I was a full-blown junkie. And that's all I cared about was Molly. And the truth of the matter is, when you're self-medicating due to emotional trauma and physical pain, yeah, the drug is all that matter. But I was trying my hardest to break away from that. That was the whole point of me wanting to leave here. Because I knew if I left the environment that I was in, I wouldn't be focused on the pain no more. Because the pain comes from the environment that I'm in. The physical pains, the mental pains, the spiritual agony, that shit comes from being around somebody who has misguided you on purpose and hates your guts, and they're your mother. Somebody that you don't went to bat for. It's just so much shit. And maybe, I was wrong for looking towards a relationship to save myself, or to at least give me the reason to save myself. But if you, being my husband, motivated me to want to clean myself up, why didn't it do the same for you? Because when you think that you found something special and you think that you found something real, any true, real person wants to give that other person the best of them. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to consciously make an effort to give this man the best of me. I wanted to kick this shit. But you and my mama got together and y'all plotted on ways to keep me looking to a drug for comfort. It didn't matter that I was trying to kick it. It didn't matter. And the day we got into that fight, I told you, I'm going to get me some weed. And you ain't want to let me go and get no weed. You ain't want to come with me to go and get the weed. You ain't want to let me go and get the weed. So you took the battery out the car. Like I don't know how to reattach a battery. Bruh, I'm 40 years old. I know you got to know that I know how to hook up a battery. I know how to change the oil. I know how to hook the battery up. I know how to top off my fluids. I know how to fix certain things under the hood. I know how to attach my belts. I had to do all of this shit on my own my whole life. My mother was no help. My mama don't have no driver's license, so she don't know shit about a car. I had to figure out these things on my own by watching the men around me that acted like they loved me. Because the women didn't want to help me because they was jealous of me. They didn't want to show me anything. They wanted to make me look crazy just like my mama had been doing. So the only people that I had to learn from was the niggas that I was dating. The only people that I had to learn from was the people around me that I was hustling with. I didn't have no parents. My mama was not a parent, bruh. I walked myself to school from the time I was in kindergarten on up. My mama ain't walk me to school. When I was in second grade, I caught 2 buses across Jacksonville from the south side all the way out on Beach to the north side, all the way on motherfucking, goddamn, wherever the fuck, over there by Norwood. You know what I'm saying? I used to catch the bus from my auntie job. My auntie would drive past my school, drop my cousins Tasha and Torn off at Brentwood Elementary, and then she would go to work. And I would have to catch a city bus from her job to my school, which she drove past. Nobody ever gave a fuck about me. So yes, I turned to drugs. Because that's the only thing that ever helped me. Selling drugs helped me. Doing drugs helped me examine myself. Doing drugs helped me sit with myself and face the pain. And face the truth of the pain. Am I condoning it? Am I saying, promoting it? No, I'm not promoting it for anyone. But what I'm saying is, a drug addict is using for a reason. And it's sad when the very moment that I decide I want to kick this shit, I'm doing 1.5 grams of my little day. I need to kick this shit. I need to kick this shit. And I'm telling myself this. And I'm doing what I need to do to try to get myself done. And the more I'm attempting to get myself there, yes, the more reefer I need. So I'm smoking more weed. So I'm asking my mama, do you know where to get some reefer? I'm asking my ex-husband, can you get me some reefer? Don't nobody want to give me reefer. They want to give me Molly. They want to give me Molly. They don't want to give me reefer. Because they don't want me off the junk. So now that I have decided, I literally made a post the day before she called them people on me and said that I was on drugs. I had just made a post stating what y'all gonna do now that I ain't on nothing. Because my mind will keep going. And I've been using drugs to slow my mind down, to stop me from overthinking, to stop me from just dissecting shit too much. And now, y'all don't even want me to have access to reefer because y'all really think that I cannot control my emotions without it. Y'all really think that? I was a cocaine addict. I was 100 pounds soaking wet. If I kick that, my nigga, I can kick this too. And you ain't got to give me no reefer. Maybe I need to quit that as well. You know what I'm saying? I self-examine. I don't know how many others do, but I do. And I have been begging for help for an entire year. For an entire year, I've been begging for help. And instead of offering me the help that I needed, y'all tried to further push me into a drug-induced coma. Y'all tried to make my environment as hostile as possible. Y'all tried to make sure I didn't have no finances in order to take care of myself, which was really a blessing in disguise. It was a blessing in disguise because that's part of the reason why I started to wean myself off the drugs. If I can't afford the drugs and I got to pay bills, I'm going to pay my bills before I buy drugs. That's not something that a junkie does, sweetie. A stone cold junkie is going to get drugs before they pay anything. That's just what it is. I consciously made the decision, if I gotta pay bills, I'm finna sit on my money. I'm not finna buy drugs with my money. And the more I decided to pay bills, and the more I decided not to buy drugs, and the more I decided to wean myself off the jump, the more y'all tried to fuck with me. Mom, you literally broke up my relationship and then went on a trip. Like you was celebrating. Soon as he was out of this house, you booked your train to go get on the trip, to go take a trip. You had to, that was your victory lap, huh? That was your victory lap, huh? See, y'all wanted me on drugs because y'all didn't want me to face reality. Y'all didn't want me to face the truth of the situation. But when you did that shit that you did this week, while I was calling organizations, trying to get help, trying to find out where to go, trying to find out what I could do, and you knew I was coming up with a plan. You knew that I was coming up with a plan, and if I kicked the jump, you would have no control, right? If I sought mental health assistance, you would have no control, right? If I actually was able to get my antidepressants, I wouldn't need the drugs. You knew that. He knew that. That's why he changed my insurance and put me on an HMO. So I couldn't get the assistance. I ain't been able to get my HIV medication. How am I still alive and I'm not sick? It's been 4 months. I'm going to tell you some real ass shit. It takes about a month for you to start feeling the effects of having HIV. It takes about a month. You start feeling drained. You start feeling weak. Your body is aching. Your muscles are aching. You cannot move. You're getting rashes everywhere. I'm telling you, bruh, it take about 30 days. It's been 4 months since I've had my antiviral medication. It's been 4 months since I've had my PTSD medication. It's been 4 months. Okay? I'm not even supposed to be able to have this conversation with you all. But luckily, God blessed me with the ability to know how to use herbs, to know how to make supplements, to know what to do to try to get through the the withdrawal symptoms. But y'all seen that and y'all started the bullying. You took my money every month. Every month you took my money knowing that I didn't have nothing but that, what I was giving you. And then you won't come and act all nice and buy weed and give me weed and buy weed and give me weed and make sure I got cigarettes and make sure I got this. But the moment I started exposing your ass, left me in this bitch sick with nothing to eat and nothing to drink. You wanted me to die. Because I had to put my foot down and that it was time for just good. I will use the devil to bring you right to what you're going through. He will use that negative ass environment to push you right back to him. And y'all wonder why all y'all spells haven't worked. Now all of a sudden, mother, you're having health issues because you wished them on me. That shit is returning back to sender. Yeah. And honestly, I'm going to tell you, in September of 2023, I was about to kick the bucket. And I ain't trying to be funny. And I'm not trying to be nasty. It was really hard for me to face that. So while you think that I was in here mourning over a nigga, no, I was mourning over the relationship with my mother. I was in grief. I was grieving over that because you ain't gonna be here in a little while. And I'm not wishing it on you. I actually asked them not to. And at that time, back in September, what I was told was if you knew what we knew, you wouldn't even be upset right now. I spent the last months grieving our relationship because the mother that I loved, the woman that I thought was my best friend, she's gone. She's gone. And I will never get to see her again in this life. And the woman that is fin to pass away, I don't know her. I don't know her and she don't love me. So, you notice that, yes, I am an addict and I've been an addict. But I've been trying to get off that shit. And the more I try to get off of it, the more I try to get and seek mental health assistance, the more I try to get out of this environment, the more y'all try to bury me in it. The more y'all try to bury me in it. I'm going to tell you the God's honest truth, Mom. You make like $13 an hour. I was working as a phlebotomist at Optifarm Plasma, and I was only making like $12.32 or some shit, like $12 and some change. And I was managing to pay all of the bills off of what I was making at Optifarm Plasma. But you will sit in this house and act as if you can't pay these bills off of what you make. Like you need me here. You don't need me here. You just want to continue to further bury me in addiction and self-pity. And now, the beast is waking up. And you know what everybody else is aware of. It's something inside of me that comes out when I'm pushed up against a wall. And that motherfucker ain't nothing to be played with. I have changed my fate on several different occasions, as well as changing the fate of those around me. And the truth of the matter is, Mom, you need to start paying for your funeral arrangements, because you're not going to make it through this year. And that's just the real of it. And it's going to be painful. And you're going to be in misery. And I have tried to barter with the spirits and the divine about this. And they keep telling me, if you knew what we knew, you wouldn't even be worried about it. You'd be thankful. So I've grieved our relationship. Yeah. I've grieved over you. Because I honestly could have came back here, gathered my things, and me and Ascension could have left. But I didn't want to leave you here. I wanted to get you stable and secure before I went anywhere with him. And I also wanted to give myself time to get to know him and for him to get to know me, because I knew that I hadn't been honest with him about my addiction. And I also knew he hadn't been honest with me about his. An addict can recognize another addict. It just is what it is. And it's sad that I had more courage than you did. As a woman, I was more honest and upfront with you than you were with me. You didn't tell me you had a sex addiction. You didn't tell me that you were having sex with prostitutes. You didn't tell me that you were an alcoholic. And I know that there are other drugs that you're doing, that you're hiding. I know it. Because nobody drinks that much alcohol without being high on something. Nobody does. You ran into somebody's car. I don't give a fuck how high I was. I ain't never been so high to where I ran into a bitch car. Have I blacked out behind the wheel? Yes. Was I on drugs? No. I blacked out behind the wheel because I hadn't eaten anything. I wasn't taking care of myself to the best of my ability at that time. I had just lost my job. I had just moved me and my mother into a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. I had just did all of these things, and my student loan money was getting played with. So I was grinding full fucking force, and I hadn't eaten shit that whole day, and I blacked the fuck out behind the wheel. And y'all this is how I know it's a political agenda to destroy me. Because the way and the manner in which y'all have tried to smear my name, my face, my reputation is the same manner in which political partners and political representatives do each other. When they're contending for positions in the government, city council, mayor, all that bullshit, they will run a smear campaign on their opponents, right? That's the same manner in which y'all have been conducting yourselves. So I really just want to know, who the fuck paid you, bitch? Who paid you? Who paid you, bitches? And if they paid you, what the fuck is my cut? Because it's my life that y'all destroying. So I deserve a cut. Because that pie that y'all is divvying up belongs to me. The entire pie that y'all cutting up and breaking up and splitting up between y'all belongs to me. See, the drugs, they keep me quiet. The drugs, they keep me from snapping. The drugs, they keep me in a position of allowing you all to continue to abuse me without saying anything, without defending myself, without standing up for myself. And the moment I decided to get off the junk, you're going to call the police and try to get me Baker acted for being on drugs? That is oddly backwards. The moment a person decides to kick, you now call the police and say that they're on drugs. You done switched the whole motive. They ask you what color I am. You say Spanish. You ain't never wrote down on no paper ever that I was Spanish. You ain't never did that before. Your slip showing. Your slip is showing. And I know you think if you could just watch me enough, you might can figure out what it is that's going to be my next move. And I'm going to tell you the truth about it. God ain't even telling me my next move. So I know he's not going to tell you. And I know why he's not telling me my next move. Because he knows that you all are trying to find out what my next move is. He keeping that shit hidden from me. But he is taking his time and making it his business. Each of you. You probably manipulated Kareem. You manipulated his pain because we was right at the finish line. We was right at the finish line of a 12-year bid. And if I had not contracted HIV, we probably would have built a life together. Because I saw how my HIV diagnosis tore him up. He was healthy and thick. And as soon as I gave him that news, he did the same thing I did. Turned to drugs to deal with the pain. Luckily, at the time, I was using antidepressants instead of, like I was on antidepressants, so it was easier for me not to use Molly because I didn't really feel the pain, and I was trying to get him to see, like, I was just as disappointed in myself. I was just as disappointed in myself as he was. I was trying to get him to see. And then, he did so much to where it's just no going back. It ain't no going back. You know what I mean? And I know that you was in his ear manipulating him and manipulating his pain and his emotions. And I know y'all reached out to those high priestess or those dark priestess, spiritual workers, and y'all tried to put curses on me. I know that y'all did. I know it. I know that y'all, well, my mother don't feel no regret. She feel like she's justified in her actions. She feel like she own me. I'm her property. You know how a man marry a woman and a woman is his property? Well, that's how my mother feels about me and my life. If I'm not going to dedicate my life to taking care of her, then she'll just take it from me. In an effort to secure a check. And you've always been like that. I just saw a side of you that I loved. You was all I had. I didn't have no daddy. I didn't have nobody else in my life. You was the only constant in my entire life. You was my constant. You was the one thing that I knew that I could count on. And that was all a lie. Like, I'm literally reviewing the tape of my life, and all of the parts that I edited out because I didn't want to see them. All of the times that you got paid for me to leave and go with grown-ass men and fuck them. You let me believe that I was making those decisions, and you was benefiting off of them. I had pictures of you with money in your hand, folding up money, all slick and shit. Just like in that video where Ascension was doing all that fuck shit outside, you could see my mama was hiding something. When I walked in her room and told her, yo, he got his needles outside in the front yard, you could see in her mannerisms, the way she was putting whatever she was putting in her purse, that she was hiding something. But I didn't want to face that shit. I didn't want to believe that the one person that was the constant in my life was an enemy. Who the fuck wants to believe that? Who in the fuck in the world wants to know for certain that ain't nobody got their back? You think that that's something that you live with peace, with grace, with happiness, with pride? To know that you a fucking throwaway? And to know that if you would have had access to the resources and the tools that you needed as a child, that you could have been great. And I'm not saying that I still can't. I'm just, acknowledging the fact that me being a junkie was more conducive to my mother's plan than me being stable. She pushed me towards drug environments. She pushed me towards men that would use me. She pushed me towards men that she could manipulate for money. She pushed me towards these things. And now I'm 40 years old trying to get the fuck out. And I've been trying to get out. This ain't like I just started trying to get out of this shit this year. No, I've been trying to get out. Way back in 2017, I told my Mom, okay, I've been taking care of your ass now for 5 years straight. I said, I need you to go get a job because I am being buried. I put all my money into fixing up the house, Kareem father house. And I need you to go get a job. Like, you, obviously, this disability shit done been 5 years. You won't even give me a year for me to claim my disability. But I gave you 5 years before I told you I need you to go back to work, man. I cannot do this on my own. I put all my money into this house. Now they're foreclosing on it. We're going to have to move soon. I need you to get it together. Honestly, I'm going to tell you the God's honest truth, and I put this on my own grave. Brian Barnwell was the only motherfucker I could call on. Yes, he got me on Molly. He got me to smoking Molly. But that was the only motherfucker I could call on. That nigga could be mad at me, and I could call him and tell him a nigga hadn't just pulled the gun on me. Or call him and tell him a nigga hadn't threw a motherfucking brick-ass cinder block through my mother's glass window in her bedroom, and he'd be like, come get me. I'll come over there and sit with you. I tell him I need to fix up a house. Come get me. I got you. That was the only motherfucker I could call on. So Kareem, when you asked me, oh, I was in love with that nigga, yeah, I have love for him. I still do. Do I fuck with him? No. But do I have love for him? Always. I'm going to always remember that when I couldn't call nobody else, I could call him. I'm going to always remember that. Just like I'm going to always remember when I first moved to this city and I didn't know how to move and I didn't know what to do. Kareem taught me how to move and what to do. That's why I stuck by you the whole time you was in prison. Because the type of loyalty that I have in my heart is different. I'm going to always remember. I'm going to always remember when I couldn't get nothing from nobody, I could go to the dead end and get that shit. When I wanted to start hustling and the bitch wouldn't serve me, I remember the first motherfucker who did serve me. And I'm going to always remember that. Because my loyalty is set up differently. I'm going to always remember the nigga that taught me how to hustle. I'm going to always remember. Always. I'm going to always remember the bitch who saved my life when a nigga damn near drove me off a bridge. I'm going to always remember how my dog jumped up out the back seat and grabbed the steering wheel on that nigga ass. And I'm going to always remember that when I didn't have nobody else in my corner, my mama was there. And just because I remember that shit, don't mean that I got to alter my own well-being for yours. Am I hurt that don't nobody want to help me? Yeah. But do I respect it? Yes. Because I wouldn't expect anyone to fuck up their life to come rectify mine. That's my job. Which is why you see me on those videos sitting on the phone for hours. Which is why you see me reaching and digging through Google searches trying to find the actual people who really want to assist me. Not the ones that want to baker at me and put me in a drug program so they could get money for me. Not the ones that want to keep me on medicated prescriptions so that way they can get money off my prescriptions, off my insurance. No, I'm talking about the people who genuinely want to help me. I go through all those Google searches and all that shit on a daily basis, dog. Like I got a book full of numbers and information of shit that I have been doing on my own because won't nobody else help me. My mama sat on the sidelines my whole entire life. She watched me get myself ready for school. She watched me make sure I had all my stuff in my bags. She watched me do all these things. But she didn't help me. You know how on TV where the mothers, they fix their kids' lunch and then they make sure they got their stuff in it. Did you do your homework? Where's your home? My mother didn't do that. And I don't know my father. And I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry that your father decided to leave me a dowry. And the kids that you've been taking care of your entire life was left with nothing. I'm sorry, brother, sister, from another mother. Same daddy, though. I'm sorry that you're hurt and you're angry because you thought for sure that you were going to get left something in the will. And you didn't. And I keep hearing the word dowry. I'm not hearing inheritance. I'm not hearing a trust. I'm hearing the word dowry. A dowry is supposed to be given when someone gets married. But you all have been keeping yourselves as the beneficiary on my dowry so that way you can control it. And your whole way of doing that is keeping me on the drugs, keeping me mentally incompetent. That is what you have been using. You've been going back to whatever lawyer that has been dealing with the dowry. And y'all done pushed it all the way to this point to where I'm 40 years old. And y'all been trying to hold on to what's mine. And Mom, you literally been lying to my father. You've been lying to my father. You've been telling my father that this is the lifestyle that I want to live and that I don't want nothing better for myself. You've been telling my father this. Which is why he was like, fuck it, shit, she just a junkie. Because he's going off information that you're giving him. I'm just a junkie, right? And the whole time you telling everybody I'm a junkie, I'm paying bills for you. How does a junkie take care of a grown-ass woman? How does a junkie take care of theirself? There's a difference between addiction and junkie. It's a difference. And it's sad. It's sad because the moment I decided to kick is when you called the people. I was looking at that day when I had just got out the tub. Like, I was literally sitting there in a fucking towel. Hair wet, face wet, water dripping all over me. And this bitch on the phone calling the police telling them I'm on Molly and I'm all this other extra shit. And I'm sitting there looking at her like, bitch, I ain't had no Molly. I ain't even got no reefer right now. That's the real reason why I'm aggravated, because I don't got no reefer. But you talking about I'm on Molly. So the moment I decide to kick is the moment that you decide to get me Baker acted. Wow. It didn't matter when I was in the room and I couldn't breathe on the left side. Like I was telling you, it felt like my rib cage was poking my lung on the left side. And it still feels like that. I've been telling doctors that for the longest. They won't even acknowledge that shit. They just tell me it's my sciatic nerve. Man, my hip is out of place. I can tell my hip is out of place. I've been telling y'all that. I've been telling the doctors that nobody don't give a fuck. But the moment I decide to kick the habit, you call and try to get me Baker acted. That's amazing. That shit is just, I cannot get over it, bro. Like, I can't. I'm sorry, y'all, if y'all feel some type of way because I keep talking about this shit. But I cannot get over it. I cannot get over the fact that I've sat in here in a drug-induced stupor for years. And my mother ain't said nothing. She ain't came in there and tried to put a hand on me and said, baby, do we need to try to get you some help or anything? The moment I get off of it, you try to get me Baker acted for it. What did you think? Did you think that when I went to the hospital and they checked me, because I know that they checked my blood for drugs, you think when they checked me and they found out it wasn't no drugs in my system, or did you get me sent to the hospital so they could put some type of blood out? It's too much. I literally was on the phone the first quarter of the week trying to get mental health assistance, trying to get housing, trying to get this, trying to get that. Hey, how you doing, Sheldon? Thank you for relating to my struggle. I appreciate that. I mean, you know, I don't know too many people that, but then again, I do know a lot of girls here in Jacksonville that are beautiful that somehow end up mentally unstable. It's a lot of them. Like, on Dunn, it's this one girl, she is so fucking beautiful. I'm talking about beautiful, just beautiful black girl. You know what I'm saying? She light skinned just like me, but she's pretty as fuck. This girl walk around. She had one of those little trolleys that she carries. And they be like, don't say nothing to her. She crazy. It's another girl that I know that was staying over here in Pearl World that she was like, she had her shit together, had her own place, this, that, and the third. Before the year was out, she was on drugs, walking up and down the street, tricking. It is not a coincidence that all the pretty women in this city end up fucked over, thinking that they crazy. Baby, I'm here to tell you, sweetie, you are beautiful and you're not crazy. And if don't nobody else love you, I love you because I am you. Y'all been getting away with this in this city for a very long time, destroying beautiful women, men, and the ugly ass bitches that's left around, that's bad bodied, think they all that, ain't shit, pussy stink, don't care about your kids. But you portray an image that you do. But you don't. You don't give a fuck about your kids. You just want to look like a good mother. They'll get together with these weak ass, homosexual ass men that don't want to come out the closet because they scared. They get together and they'll tear a woman down that's beautiful and has potential. And that's what y'all done. And I should be dead. I should. I'm fully fucking aware that I should be dead. Which is why I am fully fucking aware that y'all ain't gonna be able to destroy me. While y'all conjuring up spells, consulting with voodoo priests from other countries too, I'm relying on God. And I've been blessed enough by the divine to be. You need blood. You need an animal. You need a life. You have to take a life. You have to sacrifice something. You see what I'm saying? And the sad part about it is that y'all is banking on destroying somebody using black magic, and I am a child of God. And every piece of magic in this universe comes from God. So while y'all is consulting with y'all crystal balls, I'm consulting with the divine. I'm consulting with God. While y'all is using God's power to try to destroy his child. And y'all think that them demons, them deities, and, you know, them entities that y'all calling on, which were made by God, can destroy a child of God. Think on that for a second. Think on that for a second. You gonna destroy a child of God using God's power? No, you're not. You're not. So, it is what it is. But just remember that. I told you that. You cannot destroy a child of God using his motherfucking power. Every goddamn piece of magic in this universe, in this motherfucking, in the entire universe, the multiverse, every piece of magic in this world, it comes from source. So when you're consulting these energies, and I'm simply saying I am a child of God, I am a direct descendant of the Most High. My name is Jessica. Jessica means blessing. I am supposed to be a blessing to this world. I am attempting to be a blessing to this world. And y'all would rather keep me in a drug-induced coma and stupor and y'all getting checks for me. And because I woke up one day and said, I gotta change this. I gotta look at the man in the mirror. When I woke up one day and decided I'm gonna work on the man in the mirror, y'all went to scrambling around like roaches trying to figure out how the fuck to throw a monkey wrench in my sobriety. You wanted me to get Baker acted so they could put me in an in-house treatment program like they was gonna try and do back in 2009, huh? That was you doing it then. When Kareem told me, he said, man, you know your mama tried to get you, they signed that paper to get you put into an in-house program. Me and him went and got married. And he said, I'm not finna let them Baker act you. That was back in 2009. And I guess you thought now that you had got Kareem out of the picture that you was going to be able to do it. You was going to be able to get off. I was getting to the point where I told you, you're going to have to take care of yourself because I'm getting ready to go somewhere. And when I go, I'm trying to go and start and build my foundation for my corporation, for my company. This is not no bullshit that I'm telling you like, oh, I make a product. I ain't trying to push my product to people. I'm trying to get my product certified as a goddamn prescription so I could get in on some of that prescription medication money. I have really thought out my plan and really thought out what was the best method for me to succeed. Well, if I go to Africa, it's a way cheaper and I could get my clinical trials done for cheaper. And I know somebody there that works in a lab who will help me get the data and collect the data and put the data together properly. But no, we gonna send in some little hook book ass, wanna be thug ass nigga, little Ninja Turtle ass nigga. And he thought he was so fucking fine. I don't know who told you that. Who told you that you was so fine? Like, I remember one time I was mad at him because of some shit he did, right? He had to went out and been out the whole night. He came back, it was 6:30 in the morning. Yes, I punched him in his face. I popped his ass real quick. When he pulled up in the yard 6:30 in the morning and says, oh, I was at the car wash, I couldn't help, but it was a natural reflex. Yes, I popped that nigga ass real quick in the jaw. That's the only time I put my hands on you, bro. That's just like when you was in the bed sleeping and I came up to you and patted your pockets and you tried to say that I jumped on you because I patted your pockets. No, nigga, I was looking for them keys that you say you lost. You lost a whole set of keys to my house. And then after you leave, a bitch leave my door wide open. My door was wide open one day I woke up. You don't know where the fuck them keys went. And I don't know where the fuck them keys went. But I do know after your ass left, I woke up, my door was wide the fuck open. And I don't know how long it had been like that. So, y'all don't want to focus on that. The shit that y'all did wrong. Because I'm omitting my faults. I'm omitting my addiction. I'm omitting my issues. I'm omitting that I have mental health issues. I'm omitting that I'm traumatized. I'm omitting that I am currently under construction by the divine. I'm omitting that I have been tricked my entire life into believing that my gift is a mental disorder. Them voices that be talking to me, y'all told me I was crazy. But in September of 2023, after you did all that fuck shit you did, Ma, them voices told me that your life was finna be gone. You're gonna keep getting sicker. Because you sent so much death magic at me and they blocked it and taught me how to protect my vessel so that I can protect my soul. Because of that, all of that shit is being sent back. I wouldn't be surprised if Ascension is sick. I would not be surprised if somebody in his family also drops dead. But I know for sure, mother, you are not going to make it through the end of this. You're not. Because you, you know how when you're royal, like the queen, they have their handmaids and they have that one handmaid and that's the closest to them. That's the role that you were supposed to play in my life, mother. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to say I'm a queen, I'm royalty, and y'all you beneath me or nothing, no shit like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the type of loyalty that a handmaiden displays to their queen is unlike any other. Unless they trying to take that queen's position. And that's what you've been doing, trying to take my position. I buy something, you go, you buy something that look damn like what I bought. I buy a pair of shoes, you ask me what type of shoes them is, you go, you buy the same type of shoes. You've been doing this my entire life. And you've been using my energy trying to conduct yourself as if you are someone to be respected and you're not. You tricked out your 11-year-old daughter. You sent your 11-year-old daughter out the house with a man that had gray hair on his chest. That man took me to an abandoned house, fucked me on the carpet, and then took me to the mall and bought me a pair of Fila's. That was my first pair of name brand shoes. I had to fuck for them. Yeah. That was my life lesson. If you want anything in this world, bitch, you better get it from the muscle. Don't ask nobody else for shit unless you want to get fucked for it. That was the greatest life lesson you could have ever taught me. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm finna put my shit on. Y'all talking about you couldn't have taught me nothing better. 11 years old. At the age of 11, you taught me how to use my pussy for what I wanted. You taught me that if I wanted anything in this world, bitch, I couldn't depend on nobody else to get it. You taught me that. And I lived my life based off of that. That's why I don't really ask nobody for help. You can talk that shit if you want to, but I don't really ask nobody for no assistance. If I ask a bitch for something, it's not like, oh, give me some money so I could go and get high. No. I asked my homeboy, he sent me $50 the other day. Okay? I still got 20 on him. How am I a drug addict? He sent me $50 the other day. I still got 20. I used 20 of them $50 to get my food delivered through Instacart. So how the fuck I still got $20? How I'm a junkie? How I'm on Molly and I still got $20? How? It doesn't make sense. The story that you're telling people is not adding up, sweetie. It don't make sense. It don't. That shit don't make no sense. At all. Shit don't make no sense. Just like I know you be trying to get me fat. You'll bring shit from work and it ain't nothing but sweets. You don't bring no food like sandwiches, roast beef sandwiches. You bring all sweets. And then you sit them on the dining room table and you leave them there. Because you want me fat, right? That's what you gonna fatten me up. You gonna fill me up with suffering and turmoil to the point to where I don't trust men at all. And I don't believe that it's even possible for me to actually have a traditional relationship. I don't believe that anyone can actually love me genuinely, properly. That's what you want. Me, forever single, forever stuck to you, forever under your motherfucking thumb. I was 11 years old. I looked you in your face like, really, Mom? And you looked me back in my eyes and told me it's okay. He's going to take you and buy you the shoes that you want, baby. The shoes you've been asking your god brother for, He's going to buy them for you. It's okay. And I looked at you like you're not coming, and you convinced me and told me it's going to be all right. Like, it's okay. Is you going to get the shoes that you want? It's okay. I was 11. I wasn't even a teenager. Do you even consider an 11-year-old a preteen? I mean, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to be nasty, and I'm not trying to say that, you know, anytime that I did use my body to get what I wanted, that it was my mama's fault. No, that was not my mama's fault. What I'm saying is, she didn't have no problem showing me. You can't ask me for shit. If you want something, this is how you get it. That's what she showed me. If you want something, this is how you get it. That's what she showed me. That's what she showed me. And then the other shit was so funny is that, like, I remember when I was like 10 and you was influencing me to wear Daisy Dukes. Oh, we wore shorts like that when I was a little girl. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I didn't have the body of a child. I didn't look like I was 11 or 10. And you influenced me to dress like the age that I looked like I was versus dressing like the age that I actually was. I watch TV shows and I see parents on these TV shows pull their hair out trying to get their daughter to dress their age, you know, have age-appropriate conversations, have age-appropriate relationships, have age-appropriate friends. And when I watch these shows and I think about the way that you influenced me, and I think about the nights that you would have me up with grown-ass men playing cards, playing spades. I'm your spades partner at 11 years old. And it's a house full of niggas. And if you not fucking them, who you think they're gonna try and fuck? It's just certain shit you just don't do, you know? And I'm gonna get off here and finish getting dressed, but I'll be back in a little bit. I just need to get myself together. Like I said, man, be good to yourself. Be good to others. Remember this. Any magic comes from source. Even black magic. All the magic in the universe comes from source. It's not magic. It's the power to create. And you cannot create destruction for anyone other than yourself in this world. It's universal law. Harm none. Harm none. So whatever you send out is coming back your way. It's coming back your way. See, I'm stepping into my power. I'm stepping into my ability to co-create with the universe. I'm stepping into the knowledge that this is not a mental disorder. This is a gift of insight. A God-given gift. And those dark magic practitioners know that their power comes from source. And source has the ability to cut their power completely off. And if they keep assisting you in attacking me, their power will be disconnected. No questions asked. No heads up given. So, you know, just a little FYI. Don't take nothing to hit that thumbs up or that subscribe button. And, you know, don't be shy. Share this shit with another motherfucker.